Well, our speaker for this next session is the president of Mercury Business Advisors. He's a very successful author. He's written 2 books, one on business strategy, Plan, Execute, and Win, another on advancing innovation, galvanizing, enabling, and measuring for innovation value. He's an active board member. He works on boards with business incubators, voluntary health and welfare organizations, and he's also on our IMA Global Board. And I know we're going to learn a lot from this session by hearing about the positive side of risk and with a focus on innovation and growth. Please join me in welcoming Patrick Stroh.
Well, it's great to be here. That was interesting because I sat through Damon John. I had a killer opening that I was going to go through. My DJ didn't make it through customs. My video is hung up somewhere. So Sandy filled in and did a very nice job for the intro. Thank you for that. I can guarantee you one thing in this session. I will not be half as entertaining as Damon. But I do guarantee you will get a gold nugget or 2 from this. And so we're going to talk about my 2 favorite topics, which are ERM and innovation. And I'm hoping that when we get to the end of this, you're going to realize the force that's back at the office that hopefully you can awaken when you go back. If you start looking at risk management and combine it with innovation and look for those gold nuggets among the rocks and the boulders, this could be your name in your organization. You can be a star in your organization for taking existing information. As you're going to see as I go through these slides, I'm not going to ask you to do an entirely new enterprise risk management program. I'm not going to say, here are the 10 different ways you have to change innovation. I'm simply saying, put them together. Put them together, mine the existing data that you already have, and look for value. It was words like strategic. It was words like looking for opportunity. It was words like, how do we differentiate with this? And it was certainly about growth and innovation. Then the vernacular started to change. We started talking about value creation and optimizing value within an organization, and ultimately taking risk, potentially even investing in risk, to differentiate our companies, to drive more value in our value prop. Look at the interesting differences between Silicon Valley, Dubai, and China in this chart. You can go through and I can give you all kinds of analogies and all kinds of the discussion that we had after this, because I always share this with people from different countries so they can see. Everybody always wants to know what's happening in the US. And then you go to China and say, everybody wants to know what's going on in China. So it's interesting to kind of compare and contrast this. Everybody wants to innovate. When I'm talking to the C-suite, everybody wants to innovate. Whether it's for growth, whether it's for reinvention, whether it's just to add or change something in their value prop, they know they need to innovate or they're going to be left behind. They skip right through culture and organization and what's going to work for their company, and they go into the execution. And here's the way I would describe innovation governance. When people start an innovation, and again, C-suite folks are talking about how do they innovate their value proposition, they're looking for the stuff on the left of this slide. They're looking for the magical unicorn. They want to find that wild Mustang that they can put into their value prop, and they think that's innovation. You can get lucky once in a while and find one of those things, but it's not systematic, it's not consistent, and it's not going to sustain you over the long haul. Is ERM and innovation absolutely need to be tied to strategy? So you saw it in the innovation framework, how to get innovation value in the middle, and you saw it in the COSO guidance. You've got to be tied to strategy. So it's interesting, if you look at a company's value proposition, one of the ways you could describe it is, we all take risks in our business, and that's how we make money, or that's how we achieve our mission. So to a certain degree, it's an exercise in risk management. What risks are we taking? How are we delivering? How are we executing to drive value in our businesses? So this is going to be one of my closing slides, one of the last things I want you to take away. I guarantee you, a lot of you guys that have risk management programs or any type of risk analysis at all, back at the Ponderosa, back at work, you can go through that and mine that for valuable places to innovate in your business. You maybe simply haven't applied that lens, because that's traditionally not what we've done in risk management, is look for that opportunity. And so the way I would augment this classic risk management response is I'd put an additional lens on it, and I'd put 2 more options to choose from in here. If I have a risk around suppliers, I will look at my classic risk responses, but I'm going to ask you additional things. One is, should I innovate around this? Do I have a problem within the business, within my whole supply chain, that I need to apply innovation resources to it? Or is it a risk such that maybe this is a risk in the entire industry, and if I invest in that risk and I solve for it, I've now differentiated my value proposition versus my competition. But I have never seen anyone link ERM and innovation yet. And it's where some of that COSO guidance was going, talking about being more strategic and adding more value. When you look at a simple example like this, when you think about what Jack Springer did at Malibu, it's a great example. So if you take nothing else away from this discussion, or if you want to go back and get the headspace of that CFO, that CEO, that executive team, here are the 3 slides I want you to land with. Go back to your organizations on Wednesday, Thursday, whenever you're going back. Take a look at that information and just put a different lens on. When you look through it, don't look at the rocks and the boulders and what's underneath and what you need to dig up. Look for the gold nuggets. Where and how you can elevate or expand your perspective on risk management. With that, I thank you for your time. If we can get the lights up.